listen, and it's hard to me. I would say from any offense to have productivity when you getting stopped running cover two.
Yeah, and because we, a lot of a good amount of our formations, right? Obviously, we have the tight end, right? We keep the tight end
Yeah.
in, and for the first couple of games, right? I think one of our best packages has been the two tight end package, right? You know what I'm saying, with the two
Mm-hmm.
receivers. So I can understand, right, us going to the package. But like you said, it's like this day, it's like they understood immediately. Soon as I see, the tight end, across the formation, right, to block, it's like I'm going, right? You know what I'm saying? So now instead of just these four rushers, right, you got five or you got six, right? Not necessarily because it was initially a blitz, but just because, all right, well, you staying in the block, we coming to get you, right? You know what I'm saying? Which makes sense. It's smart. But it just seemed like, man, we wasn't able to figure out how to adjust to that consistently, right? Outside of that second quarter touchdown, how to
Mm-hmm.
adjust to that, right? To get the ball to our guys in space. And I think, we got some dynamic guys, but we still haven't been able to get, the ball to guys in space. And I think Joe Blow mentioned it, right? Like I said, 20 is Bingman, the freshman, right? That was one
Mm-hmm.
that I really don't understand why he didn't get more touches. You know what I'm saying? And your sister says 54 for 109. Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. 54. I'm first of all, I'm just surprised that we ran the ball 54 times, right? But also I would say, if the line can't hold up, you know, it's gonna be hard for the quarterback to get the ball out. You know what I'm saying? And the offensive line, in the first half and the second half, right, didn't hold up well. So it didn't really give Cam, that chance to really get the ball out. Now, last thing I'll say, our question I have, right, before we move on to the game of the week, real quick, is in that fourth quarter and overtime, right? Obviously, Southern had the momentum, but that last drive, coach, it's like, man, when Southern came to the lines, like they knew, like, listen, we only down by 8. They kicked the field goal. We about to tie this game up, right? So we about to win this game, right? And you could see it in their eyes, right? And from your standpoint, I just my thought process was like, man, you seeing them move down the field, it's almost like we might need to take a break here, right? Get the defense adjusted, because it's like we stayed in the same package, right? And the only time we kind of changed what we was doing was on that 2-point conversion when we sent, I think, both of the linebackers, and he ended up hitting Quay Davis, right? Still, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, right, we kind of stayed down, and they just kept gashing us, right? Because it wasn't even like a lot through the air. It was like they was running the ball a lot of times, right? And
Mm-hmm.
wasn't able
Yeah.
to wasn't able to stop them. But when I saw that line change, I was like, I'm like, they about to score right now, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you had your best four guys there. And that's why I was thinking, like, man, just call a timeout right now. Keep your best four on the field, at least, right? You know what I'm saying? To give them a chance. But obviously we weren't able to stop that and get that done. But what's your thoughts kind of in that when you see kind of, hey man, you up by 8, like this team is going on basically 8, 9. Do you think that's a time where we say, man, hey, let's kind of take a step back, let the guys calm down here, because they just got gashed for 50 yards. Like, they got the ball now on the 38-yard line. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would be your thoughts or your philosophy there? You know what I'm saying? As far as saying, man, we need the game, we're going to stop the game right here because we up by 8. We're not letting them score and get a 2-point conversion. We ended in regulation, not overtime.
Well, I think part of it depends on how you guys are playing and how are they getting yards. Because to me, I hated using timeouts on defense. No matter, pretty much, it's almost no matter what was going on. You want to save all your timeouts for offense, unless you got guys. If they getting chunk yards, you don't mind so much. But if they nickel and diamond, 5 here, 7 here, 5 here, 3 here, 5 here, 7, that's what gets your guys tired to me. So that's one of those philosophy. Do you use your timeouts on defense to try to keep your guys in? Because really, sometimes, especially when they only giving you that 30-second timeout, that 30-second timeout don't help you from getting a breather. You need the TV timeout pretty much to help you catch your breath. So that's just one of those that goes back to philosophy. And like I said, it goes back to what I would say: if you tired, get an interception or get a stop or get a fumble and get off the field.
Any thoughts, Mr. Carey?
Yeah, I think we that's just was an interesting game. I just I'm still trying to recover. But I made it here. I was in Centerville when we started. So I was rolling. So but I'm ready to see. No, I said it after the TSU game, but I like to see how we respond.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to see because we don't got that long to figure out how we're gonna respond because it's next week. So keeping it moving, and we got 2 games of the week, right? And we're gonna shut it down after that. Real quick, Jackson, Texas Southern this week. I think this is huge. This is big, right? Texas Southern coming in 1-2, but winning 1-0 in conference, having a chance against a ranked Lamar team. On losing by 3, and Jackson is coming in now off of a loss to Grambling. But as She Loves D said, non-conference conference game, right? What's your thoughts on this game as Jackson comes to Houston next week to try to get a conference win to start it off?
I think Texas Southern gonna have as good a chance as anybody else if they try to establish the run and lean on them. The only thing that, to me, Jackson's defensive line is pretty good. They got some linebacker when they go to that bear front where they just cover everybody up. But the thing that'll keep them from getting in that bear front is if the quarterback is able to make some pulls and be able to get some running plays with him. And to me, that's the difference. And you may say Peters had 17 rushes, but how many of those are design runs?
Right.
Are they all coming off quarterback scramble? This kid, they going to have some design runs where they going to run some quarterback counter. They going to run some power. They going to run what we call dart. They going to fake the zone and pull an offensive tackle back around. But Jackson has some speed to run it down. You have to account for that. But at the same time, Texas Southern quarterback, if they have to play what I call the 2 little ones, they're going to be able to get some rushing yards because they're going to have some design quarterback runs.
So do you bring Cooper back in this game because that kind of changes it? He's more of a stand-up passer kind of guy, or do you, like you said, stay with the 2 little?
It just depends on what do you think you can take advantage of. If you feel like he gives you legitimately the best shot of winning because he can throw the ball, yeah. But those, and I'm forgetting a smaller one that played a good bit last year,
Jace Wilson.
If he comes in, he can spin it pretty good to me, but you got to get him to the edge. He's not going to read the field. You got to get him to the edge.
Yes.
That was a pretty good deep ball. But I like him as a quarter. He's a gamer. He gonna get to the edge. He gonna run it some, and he gonna make some plays with his feet when other kids can't do that. But he doesn't give you the greatest chance of winning if you get into a passing contest because he limits what you can do from a drop back passing standpoint.
No, that makes sense. Kerry, man, who you got in this game? Jackson, Texas Southern.
Woo. Man, do this one count? Because Jackson State plays so many non-conference SWAC games. I just need to know. She Loves D just loves roasting everybody else, but they play more non-SWAC games than anybody in the conference. Do this count? I just need to know.
That is, hey, listen, that's facts. You ain't lying right there. Yeah, this one does count though. This one is actually a SWAC game.
Oh, okay. Well, they travel to Texas.
The Tigers.
Yeah.
Your sister said you got the Tigers. Hey, listen, you gonna win regardless.
I think. Wow, that's a good one. I picked them last week, but I'll pick them again. I'll pick the Bengal Tigers in this one. Texas Southern's gonna play hard.
Tigers. Which Bengal Tigers you talking about?
Well, the Jackson State say they're the Bengal Tigers, and TSU is the Third Ward Tigers.
Oh, okay. There we go. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I'll go with the Tigers that's coming out of Mississippi. I think they're gonna it's gonna be a good game though. But I think it's gonna be I think Jackson State is gonna pull it out because I think those running backs but Texas Southern can run the ball now. I was surprised they could run the ball after Owens left. But I think they found their guy. So
Yeah, in 2 different games, they've had 2 different leading rushers, right? So they had the freshman the first game against us, and then this game was Quinn, right? They've also had 3 different starting quarterbacks, right? So technically, it's still like you're still trying to figure out, a lot of what Texas is going to be, other than the fact that they're going to run the ball, right, and try to play good defense.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball, but Jackson State
is
not.
Their identity is going to be.
They're not stuck on Morgan either, so we still don't know which quarterback they're going to use.
Coach, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that with them going back and forth with McCoy and Morgan?
Yeah,
I didn't differentiate between the two, but from what I understand, one of them had to get some stitches somewhere up in here.
McCoy, yeah.
So, but I think from an experience standpoint, neither guy jumps off the page. One is a better athlete, but it's one of those. What extra do you bring? If they both about the same passing wise, I would go with the more athletic guy because I can design running plays for him. So that's what my thought process would be. If they both, one don't give you an advantage in a drop back passing game. The rollout game is something on the bootleg. That's something different. But if it's no advantage, I'm going with the better athlete.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's going to be McCoy then because I think they consider him a better athlete. So, Coach, ain't no Grambling or Southern or Prairie View on here. So, are you gonna let us know who you rolling with?
Who do I think gonna win?
Who you think gonna win? Yeah.
Texas Southern.
Ooh.
What's the reason you rolling with Texas Southern?
Because I don't think they're gonna turn the ball over.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's kind of why I'm like, man, I kind of feel like. Listen, from what we've seen with Texas Southern the first 3 games, man, you at least know what Texas Southern is, right? You know what their identity is, right? And that's one thing I feel like for us is like, what is our identity, right? You know what I'm saying? Teams that know who they are, know what their identity is, that's half the battle, right? You know what I'm saying? So this one's going to be, I feel like, going to be tough. I know that Coach TC is going to be on the guys this week, though, because I know they really feel that turning the ball over lost them this game against Grambling, right? Yeah. Or definitely got them out of the game, right? If not, lost in the game against Grambling, right? 5 turnovers. So they're going to be really on it as far as, like, not turning that ball over. But it's like Texas Southern right now. That's just in their DNA. You know what I'm saying? Now, my question is going to be, can Texas Southern move the ball through the air? And what is Jackson State's run defense going to look like? Because, they play very well against Southern, from a standpoint of stopping the run. Grambling, they were not as stout, right? So kind of what Jackson State defense shows up is kind of going to be the question for me. But, this was going to be a good game, man. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be a good game.
I think another advantage I think Texas Southern may have, they got some pretty good their kicking game is pretty solid as well.
Right.
Well, the more Texas Southern lose, the more I get to wear the shirt. So I'm going with Jackson State. You feel me? Man? Because next week I'm gonna still have the same shirt on. You feel me? Because we still gonna be in it. So I'm going with Jackson State. Regardless of who wins. But I'm liking what Chris Dishman is showing at Texas Southern. I can't lie to you.
No.
Like what he's showing at Texas Southern is dope, man. So last game of the week, obviously, PV versus Graham, State Fair Classic. What you got, man? What's the keys to this game and to us getting a victory over Grambling this week?
Not turning the ball over, first and foremost. If they can keep it down to in that 5 penalty range, I think they give themselves a chance. And
we lost already.
No, I'm not gonna say that. No, I'm not. Like I say, I'm not gonna put that in the atmosphere. but not turning the ball over, limit the penalties, and a couple big plays in the passing game because of the way that Grambling plays defense with some of their run blitzes. If you dial up the right play against the right run blitz, it's going to leave some one-on-one. It's going to leave some seam routes open. So that's I think the keys is right there to me.
Man, turnovers and penalty yards. I mean, we've been having this conversation every game, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Say funnel cakes, corn dogs, and lemonade.
And you know what? All the times I've been to that game on both sides, I never had fair food. I never had anything like that.
No fried Snicker, nothing.
None of that. Not even a turkey leg. I've never had all that in all the years I've been going to that game.
But as a coach, you mean?
As anything, coach, you know, like when we used to let out, especially when I was at Grambling, because we stayed overnight in Dallas sometimes. We didn't go back right after the game, but at Prairie View, we might get a guys like, it's almost like, hey, man, especially if we won, hey, man, y'all got 30 minutes to go. We going to blow them horns. Y'all better be back on the bus. And they would, you know, they had a lot of people that would go run and get them some food, but I never myself had any fair food.
Wow. Hey,
oh,
man,
wow.
You gotta try some fair food, man.
Yeah, sausage on a stick or something.
Yeah, man. Like I feel like all of us let down. The whole chat is kind of like,
yeah, that took the man. But don't listen to Boom. Don't fool that funnel cake. You know?
Losing to Southern at home is one thing, but Coach Northern not having no food
no
at
fair
the fair.
food.
That's another.
Wow.
That's something entirely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said it, man. Turnovers, and really penalty yards, man. You know, and like I said, I just want to see us keep our head. You know, it's not like we haven't been in. You know, we was in the game. You know what I'm saying? But we got to be able to close the deal, man. And you know, one thing I like that Coach Joseph said, I'm not gonna lie, man, is in his press conference, he said we wanted to get back to being dominant.
Yes.
You know,
I love that.
At the end of the day, listen, that's a mindset thing that I think Coach Joseph is trying to bring to Grambling. And at the end of the day, man, that's one thing we said at the beginning of the year was, you know, you got to learn how to win, right? But then there's a different thing to dominate, right? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to learn how to come and put your foot on people's neck sometime, right? Especially when you have a chance, like we talked about with Clark game, right? You allow people to linger around. That's how you lose games, right? Especially when you have a chance, you know. And that's why I feel, you know, up 14-3 is like, man, we didn't put the nail in the coffin, right, and close the door, right? We kind of let them stay around. So I'm looking at this game and say, hey, but Kerry, you said it, it's a SWAC, right? So any week, I mean, we had Southern lose to Jackson, come back and beat Prairie View. We had Grambling close to Texas Commerce. People not counting them out. Now they come and just basically blow Jackson out the water for 21. So, you know, it's going to be interesting the rest of the year and see what happened. But obviously, listen, I got my shirt on, so you know who I'm rolling with. But and Mr. Beamon say Scoop and Chase will be the key. You know, and I think Beamon. I mean, he
Scooter and Chase. Yep.
I really don't get, like, that's really a question I got. Like, why did you run?
Me too.
Why we went away from? I mean, we ran the ball 54 times anyway, right? You know what I'm saying? So why go away from Chase? You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
one thing you need to look back at too is because they had a rotation going. How early did he come into the game, and then how many runs did he get, sort of in succession before? You know, some people have you're going to play a series type of deal. Right. Some have an automatic. If you break a run longer than 12 yards or 15 yards, we're going to bring. So they need to look at that from a substitution standpoint, or do you let that guy go until he taps his helmet and say, I'm tired, coach. So it's a couple things from a coaching standpoint you need to look at. From a hot hand type of deal, do you break your rotation or do you just keep your rotation going? And then, you know, when you having a lot of 3 and outs, which was happening, especially early in the game, you're not getting a lot of plays ran. So those numbers can go down for guys where you say you should have had this many touches. But when you're going 3 and out, it ain't a lot of touches for anybody.
So from what I remember, you know, he was a second guy in the rotation, right? So first drive, I believe, was Connor Wisham, right? Yes, Connor Wisham. He got the second drive. and Scooter got the third drive, from what I remember. Yeah. Lamaje got the fourth drive, right? Which is already kind of you deep because what I've seen so far, they've kind of been going 3 deep, right? And kind of like you say, right? It's starting back over the drives, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's how deep I've seen it. So this, I mean, we went 4 this time. So that's why Lamaje, you didn't see him give a 1 drive in the first half, and then I saw him with 1 drive in the second half, which one of them was goal line in the first half in the first place, right? And Wisham got multiple because he kind of the start of the train, right? You know what I'm saying? Yes. But I was still kind of shocked because he had the second drive. Scooter got the third drive, but then you saw Scooter a lot more, you know, than him. So it was just interesting, you know, and also just with kind of how the game was going because the line wasn't really open up a lot of holes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I would think maybe we give Lamaje a little bit more burn so he can lean on guys. You know, it's just a bigger back, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, let him lean on some guys so they kind of like, man, I got to hit this joker a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Like, that help a little bit, right? You know what I mean? So that would be interesting to have that conversation. But any last words, man, before we close off, you know, for today?
Well, I had a question for Coach Northern. I was just curious, even if it's not in your arsenal, I guess I didn't understand why we were on the 1 yard line and didn't get under center with a 6'5" quarterback and tried to he could have just accepted the snap and just stuck his hand over the line, or we could have just smashed him with Lamaje on that 1 yard line. I wasn't sure what happened. Why we
hey man, that's a common question that get asked to coaches that are spread oriented. Why not get under center and tush push or get under center and try to quarterback sneak? So it's a, you know, in my opinion, that's something that has to be practiced. I know I even see teams late in the ball game still going to shotgun and snapping the ball to their quarterback because that's what those guys do during practice. But we would still have our guys go out early and get 100 snaps in under center. But I tell you what, snapping that ball under center with a nose guard and people diving at that center's leg is a lot different than, you know, you out there just making sure you get snaps with different centers. So that's a common question. I don't have an answer for it because I know at times we would, at the end of if you're not going to quarterback sneak it, at the end of the day, the running back gets the ball at pretty much the same handoff spot, whether you're under center or shotgun, if you're not doing a quarterback sneak or you're not handing it off to the fullback. So it's not a big difference if you go back and look at it where the running back gets the ball.
That's interesting. I think Anthony Bassa made the comment here. He said when a QB broke containment, there were some big plays that we had because Southern secondary broke down. So that's definitely, I think one thing when you look back, you see also, on tape is there was some plays to be had. Even in that, I think that first quarter, I think he missed a guy over top. I think Cavill over top, man. He got him in the second quarter.
Yeah, that was a good one. He missed.
Yeah, it was one that he beat him and really, really overthrew him. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, man, hey, listen, you gotta just take it one game at a time. Unfortunately, now nothing is in your hands, right? And this is just, and let me just say, I love this energy. Okay. I love this energy. You know what I mean? I know Coach has been hearing it all since yesterday. You know what I mean? Coach knows to listen. I love this energy from the PV fam. Listen, right now there's a civil war going on. All right. Listen, there's a civil war going on. Most people don't know the civil war, but there's a civil war going on. But listen, I like the civil war, right? You know why? Because at the end of the day, if you want to be great, right, you got to have a base that push you to be great. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you do.
You got to have a base that pushes you great. I see Mr. Campbell still in the comment. Listen, FAMU would be going crazy if FAMU lose their first 2 conference games. They gonna be having a civil war going on too, because they gonna be saying like, listen, we a championship level program. We got championship level facilities. We in the state of Florida, right? We got access to some of the greatest. Listen, this ain't the standard, right? So I love that you got this civil war going on because this is where, this is where PV mindset need to be. You see what I'm saying, right? And I feel like until PV mindset move to the place to where it's like it's on it because I'm gonna tell you, right? Last year, I remember after ACU game seeing people, and I'm bringing this back up because I still think it's the craziest thing it don't make no sense. I still remember people saying ACU game, we lost 30-0, and they're saying like, well, it's a PWI. We not supposed to win those. I almost jumped to my computer. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who are you? Where are you from? That's almost saying like, as a black person, we ain't supposed to go into this company and be able to run it. Mm-hmm. That don't even make. Let's forget football. Let's talk about anything else in life. It don't make sense what you talking about. And you know why it really don't make sense? We just beat them jokers 2 years ago. What are you talking about? Like, y'all are crazy, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I'm just saying I love the energy. Now I'm not saying everybody's end result of the energy is good, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? But I already said it on the show last year. If you want a fan base, you know what you got to deal with? Expectations. You know what I'm saying? Expectations. And listen, with Dallas Cowboys fans, you know what they're going to be talking about? We trying to win the Super Bowl. Jerry Jones the worst owner, Jerry Jones the best owner. That's what they're going to be talking about, right? You got all sides of the coins, right? But that's what pushed you to be great, right? So I'm happy that PV Nation is finally realizing, you know what? How in the world we got great facilities and our program ain't great? Yeah, you probably should ask yourself that question. That's probably a great question to start asking, right? You know what I'm saying? How we got all these great facilities? We in between Texas A&M and a U of H and an Austin.
Yeah, that's a whole show.
We ain't getting no FBS transfers from these schools to come to high school. That's a great question. That's probably a question you should be asking, right? Because you never gonna acquire nothing when you're not even asking the questions, right? You're not even talking about it. You're not even, you see what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying that it's not steps to the process. You see what I'm saying? But my point is the expectations got to be there in the first place. So I'm happy that expectation right now is like, listen, I'm tired of not winning championships. Great. Listen, yes, let that simmer in your brain, right? Let the loss just like, let it settle down. Just hear Southern people saying Mumford West. Yes, please let it. I hope it reverberates in your brain for the next months, okay? So you realize like, nah, this ain't how it's supposed to be. So what are the things we need to do from an alumni standpoint, from administration standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, from a player standpoint, from a student standpoint, all across the board to make the program what it's supposed to be. So now that's my little spiel, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I like it. I like all the energy. It's good. Let them talk.
One of the things, so you know, my family came to the game, and the atmosphere, and I'll say my opinion and some of their opinion was, it was boring, to be flat out honest. In my opinion, and I'll say this, and you know, do whatever you want with it. It's really not a home field advantage for Prairie View.
No, I've been saying that. Yeah.
So if you look at it, and I said this before the game, I say if Prairie View's fan don't get Southern's offense to get a couple false starts, it's not going to end up good for Prairie View.
No.
And you can look at throughout the game, the PA announcer tried to help a couple of times with them saying defense, Panthers defense, whatever they were saying, but it would be a whole lot of people. And I did the game from the concourse, not the press box. I could hear everything, and it wasn't very loud. Mm-hmm. Then there were parts of the game when Southern got rolling, you can hear, even though there wasn't a typical Southern crowd in the Houston area, you can hear the difference and the momentum change because of, in my opinion, what they fans did for their defense, not because they coaches made great adjustments. They just played better because of, to me, the energy that they got. So I think people have to understand it. Then, I mean, there's so many things I could go into about what needs to be done to get better players on campus. So I'll tell one quick story. Okay. We had a guy who played at Texas A&M. His best friend was at Prairie View. He was at Texas A&M. Had some guys want to transfer. What's the first stop on the way to Houston? Prairie View. Guys come in. You try to get their transcript evaluated so they can transfer and get in school. It takes 3 to 5 days to get it done. They stop at Texas Southern. They stop at Lamar. within 24 hours, they get told, we can take this, or that. You can come here and we have a scholarship for you. So people don't do that, but they want all these results, but they don't see how the infrastructure at times holds up a football coach.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's still going on, but I know it has gone on at Prairie View for a good time. So I can start with that, but it's a couple other, and I have no. My wife told me be careful because you don't want to sound like you have sour grapes. And I tell people this: my son is considering going to Prairie View A&M University, and I wouldn't mind him going there at all. So that tells you how much I think about that school. So, but it's some stuff that we have to do to make sure things are aligned, vertically aligned, in order to be competitive. And then, I talked to a lady when I was in the ticket office. I think eventually they're gonna have to add some things to freshman orientation or something. When you have a 60%, pretty much a 65% female student body that's female, you're gonna have to either have some class or do some things so they can understand football and have a good time at the football games. If not, they gonna come there. They don't know defense from offense. They don't know first down from touchdown. They know some touchdowns and big plays and big hits, but they don't understand some of the intricacies of the football game. So, that's it. I'll leave it at that.
No, listen, I'm with you. I always say, first of all, right? How many schools do you think you go to where the football players at the beginning of the semester are trying to figure out where they're gonna stay?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Being there, right.
Listen, but you talking about Coach Norton when you was here that you had to deal with that. I talked to a player this year,
still there
on campus, trying to figure out where he gonna stay. This is the week before, just a couple of days before the Texas Southern game, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not blaming that on whatever, right? But how in the world do you not have? It just don't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. You got such and such amount of players. Most of them here in the summertime. Mm-hmm. How you don't have housing for the guys that's here? They already here. You see what I'm saying? We're not talking about walk-ons, bro. We talking about guys who are on scholarship, guys who are starters. This ain't no private who on the bench, by the way. This is a starter, right? On the team. He trying to figure out where he got to. That type of stuff don't make no sense, right? If you want it to be home field advantage, somebody in their brain got to stop and think and say, how would I make this particular stadium an advantage for my particular school? And until somebody in the department actually says, well, how about we do this and this to make it a home field? How about you make all visitors go through a specific gate? Make them walk around and go to. I mean, listen, it's a look. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to say I'm going to make it where my fans enjoy and whereas, but then on this side, it's like maybe make their band sit in a certain spot. You giving them prime caviar like this a restaurant. This ain't no restaurant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, we trying to win a football game, right? You know what I'm saying? Until somebody sit down and actually think through and say, how would I make it a home field advantage? What would I have to do? What would I have to put in place? Then listen, you can't be surprised about nothing. Man, I don't even really want to hear nothing from none of y'all because y'all ain't even tried to do nothing to make it home field advantage. And it's been like that for years. So why are you shocked or surprised when it's been like that for years? In order to create a culture, you got to start step by step, building and putting stuff in place to make it that way. But that's why I say I like the conversation at least that's going on because people are now, listen, my generation we didn't grow up in, I know we got people like Miss Stacy on, et cetera, right? Who I know we're on the same page, right? But listen, right. I ain't grew up doing an 80-game losing streak, okay? You know what I'm saying? I grew up where Coach Norton was on the field and we won a championship, okay? You know what I'm saying? So I have championship taste, okay? Listen, I don't got, listen, my taste is expensive, all right? I got championship taste, all right? And
right.
I don't want to tell you nothing else. But what I love is now I'm seeing more people who saying, listen, I got championship taste too. Good. You got championship taste good. Because the more people who get championship taste, the more we get some reactions to our taste that align with us as alum. You know what I'm saying, right? You feel me? So
we need some converts though, because we still have fans around
woo,
that are my age that used to cheer if we got a first down, and that they were happy with that. And they're like, "Ooh, we didn't beat them, but man, they only beat us by 30."
I even had somebody who tell me that Southern a rival because they bring a lot of people. First of all, Southern's not no rival game. Okay, I don't know where you get that from. That's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like people just have we playing the game. No. I don't want to play Southern. All right. Matter of fact, listen, I'm gonna call it Mumford West until we beat Southern. Okay, listen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like beat these jokers. Okay. So anyway, man. But with that being said, I appreciate it. Let me see. The issue is PV has been to 2 of the last 3 SWAC championship games. Come now. Now, see, Mr. Campbell. Now, let me tell you, Mr. Campbell, if I say that to some alum, they gonna look at me like I'm crazy, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but,
for real.
But my point, this is my point, right? This is all I'm saying, Coach Norton, right? Because it's not about like players or coaching, right? My point is, if you want to create, my thing is, I feel like there's a disconnect. We say, which I don't even believe that we really want it, right? We say we want a fan base. You can't have a fan base without expectations. That don't make sense. There's no such thing as that. You don't have a fan base without people going. Y'all keep forgetting. Like, let me use Mr. Campbell's example. Y'all don't remember last year that FAMU fans was talking about Coach Willie Simmons should sit down Musa? Do y'all not remember this conversation last year?
Yes.
Y'all don't remember. They talking to the head coach who literally only lost to Jackson State and Deion Sanders the 2 years before, and they telling him to sit down his starting quarterback. Like, do y'all not remember that?
Yes.
So what are y'all talking about? So y'all feeling pressure because somebody's saying like, "Oh man, we need a new OC. Oh man, we need a new coach." Listen, if you want a fan base, people gonna have expectations. That's just reality, right? They're gonna say all type of stuff. You got to take it with a grain of salt, because if you want it, if you build it and you want it, that's what you gonna get, right? And listen, that's what it is, right? You got it just comes with the territory, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you really want 15,000 people there, you're gonna have 15,000 different opinions every game, after every win and every loss. Okay. And since you got 2 SWAC losses, you get double opinions now. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. But I love the energy, right? Because I'm hearing people saying, "Listen, I don't care nothing about no SWAC West. That ain't no title." And listen, as much as I said you got to celebrate and accelerate. But I still remind people, winning the SWAC West ain't no championship. That ain't. Listen, I don't care if they give you a statue. I don't care what the SWAC. I don't care what coach. What's the guy? I don't care what Charles McClellan they gave you to put up in your thing. Coach Norton. Winning the SWAC West is not
the championship.
I'm not saying you should celebrate it, right? Because you ain't done it. You only won 2 in like 15 years, right? So I'm saying you should celebrate it. But you can't get your mind to believe that this is the champion. It ain't a championship. You know what I'm saying? The SWAC championship game is a championship. All right, I'm done. All right, you know what I'm saying? But listen, it's still not PV, with all that being said. Okay. All right, man. I'm gonna have to let y'all go because we getting it.
But speaking of expectations, Lionel, shout out to Coach Lindsey for beating Memphis the other day. Those are the expectations I want for our football team. I don't want to go to UIW and play them and we be their Washington Generals. You know, I want to beat these people, beat everybody. I want to beat them down. I was 155 pounds in high school, but guess what? I played tight end as well as wide receiver because I was the strongest receiver and I didn't back down from nobody. I leg pressed 800 pounds, bench 230, and I wasn't scared of nobody. Little bitty. I never give up. I want our team to get that tenacity and really want to I just want to see some tenacity this Saturday. And I'm not going to be satisfied. Oh, they only beat us by, 12 points. I want to stomp them by 30. We shouldn't accept anything less. Is Coach Lindsey with the volleyball? More people come to watch volleyball now because her team is dominant. They really put it to you, and we, it's really something. I didn't know they were that good. I went to a game in person and they're really good. So I want a football team to come out and be like that. She has tenacity, and they follow that. And I like to see us follow suit.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. And I would say Rodney 9-3 with losses to Texas Southern and Southern is not going to be you're not going to be a playoff team. This FCS doesn't respect the SWAC enough right now for you to be a playoff team with 2 SWAC losses. That's not going to happen. But with that said, man, I appreciate all y'all for joining us this evening, right? Appreciate you, Coach Northern, for bringing us back to level ground. You know what I'm saying? Because as you see, you know what I'm saying, we hyper over here. You know what I mean? Thank you for everybody else who jumping on the show, Mr. Campbell and Jared, and you know what I'm saying, V Northern, Greg, and Mr. Bingman, etc. All y'all for joining, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Listen, it's not over. It's not over yet, right? You know what I'm saying? We have no idea what can happen in the rest of the year. Now, listen, our percentage chance has gone way down. Okay. But it ain't over, right? So I'm still rocking my shirt. Why not PV? All right, we'll see y'all later.